Okay, hello and welcome to this first video tutorial for people-centered computing. In this tutorial we're just going to look at just loading up processing and seeing what's there, what the IDE is. So we'll double click this icon. If you're in the lab machine you should find it just sitting on the desktop. Okay, and we're faced with this very, very clean, uncluttered, interactive development environment or place to write code. So what are the highlights? This bit where the text cursor thing's flashing is where we're going to type our code. So if I start to write something, code goes here. The next thing that's probably the most important is the button that we use to run our code, to fire up and enact it. And if I click that run button just now, what I've written is not a proper program. It's a syntax error. It's something that the compiler does not understand. So it's highlighted the text that it's confused by. It's given us a fairly concise message here saying syntax error, maybe missing a semicolon, which is a reasonable suggestion. And we get a much more detailed error message here in the black box, which tells us things about the underlying Java and how that's upset. So in this case that's not correct code, so that's fine. So if I just comment that out with a double forward slash and then try and run it, the program will compile, will not be any complaints, but nothing will happen because I have no program. Oh, no they will, sorry. Okay, so we get a blank screen, but nothing's going to happen when I play with this. Okay, so to stop this I can either close the window or I can click the stop button on the IDE. Got a few buttons here. We've got a button to create a new program, a button to open existing programs, a button to save the current program, and we've got one to export it as an applet, which is something we'll explore in a later video. In processing, because I'm on a Mac here, we've got kind of Mac style menus, but there'll be something similar in Unix or Windows. Two highlights to look out for. Sketchbook is all the programs that you produce. If you just save them in the default location, this is where they'll appear, which is great. And examples is a really useful thing. So one of the neat things about processing is that it comes with a whole bunch of wee sample pieces of code that demonstrate different aspects, different things that processing can do. And this is a really good source of inspiration and just a place to go and play with things. So if we look at something simple like, let's have a look at shape. That's maybe a wee bit confusing. Colour. Let's see what colour wheel is. So we can just double click on this and it'll bring up a program with a whole bunch of code. And this is a tested thing and we can click play and just see what happens. There we go. So someone's written a code which produces a nice colour wheel and a kind of pie chart style, which is great. So this is a nice place to just go and jump in and start playing with things and find out what can be done. If we go back to our code, another really useful thing to do is looking in the help menu, the reference section. Now this is available on the web as well, but if we click reference here, we've got a local copy of the processing documentation. This may seem a little intimidating initially, but this is going to be something that we'll revisit time and time again, because as soon as you begin to know that you want to do something, you've got an idea of what the function is, but you're not 100%, come on here and have a look for it. So say we want to do something with drawing a rectangle, 2D primitives, that's maybe a good starting point. We've got something called rect, that looks promising. Click on this hyperlink and then we get some documentation about this, but I'm not going to that in detail just now, we'll cover that later. So the examples and the documentation are really key, but the nicest thing about processing at this point is that the IDE is just so clean, there's not a lot going on. Place to put code, place to run code, and a place that tells us if things aren't right. Okay, thank you very much for listening.